What's up, everyone? My name is Blue, and we are back with more malicious compliance posts, following the rules to make people look like fools. If you haven't yet, please consider subscribing to our channel. And with that, let's get into it. I'll make the quesadillas exactly as ordered, but you pay the dry cleaners. Obligatory disclaimer: on mobile, non-English speaker. Due to a previous post, I thought I'd write everything in my language and pass through Google Translation and then post it, but I may lose my reservation in hell. Still on hubby's account, an autocorrect error and my son's hungry stomach reminded me of my first conscious malicious compliance. It also kept away from Mexican food until I re-met my husband. Back in the beginning of the 21st century, I was working in a cafe sandwich shop. It was a 24/7 shop in a prime location, in an area with a lot of uni students and very active nightlife, and the road was a major artery for anyone traveling in or out of the city. When I started as a first-year uni student trying to make some money, the shop was one of 4 of a small chain. Gary, the owner/manager, has bought the rights from the original shop. Gary was also doing quality control for the shop, because at that point, every shop had separate vendors. Fast forward 2 years, the original owners decide to incorporate because they have a lot of offers for franchising and a couple of problems with quality control have appeared. So, they brought back all the shops and instituted a more centralized approach to vendors. That was good for Gary, because he was the owner of the building, so he basically became a salaried manager and got extra income from the rent. Initially, nothing changed. We were still number 2 in sales, product was good. Then Dick entered the picture. Dick was the new regional manager. The small chain had become big enough to reach national level, and the person responsible for quality control. He was considered something of a golden boy, having a business degree and helping with the expansion. The problem came from his ego. You see, Dick had done a cooking workshop that provides a certificate but nothing more, and considered himself something of a chef. His first major change was installing a Crepe Station. Not restaurant quality crepes, but crepes on the go, folded like a triangle. That is important for later. While a pain to learn at the beginning, it quickly became one of our best sellers. We usually went over 10 liters of crepe mixture on a slow day. Having success with his first change, Dick decided to apply his chef training and implement some new things. At that point in time, Mexican cuisine was becoming popular in my country, due mostly to cooking shows. Dick decides to ride the trend and starts putting Mexican options on the menu. In reality, that meant 2 more set sandwiches and crepes, the ones on the board, and a few more customization options for sandwiches and crepes. And here begins the problem. As I said, Mexican cuisine was quite the new thing. Our country's cuisine is way different than the Mexican, especially on the spice level. A lot of the produce used for Mexican food was either rare or non-existent. But Dick was adamant it was another win for him and found a vendor. And the quality started to fail. We started to receive buckets of pre-made chili and queso and jars of picked jalapenos and pre-made guacamole and pico de gallo dips. Also, blocks of white cheese labeled queso blanco. The queso was an orange paste with some red bits in it. According to hubby, under a bad light it could pass for bad queso. And the left a very plastic taste. It reminded of clay. One taste of that kept me away from Mexican food for a while. The jalapenos weren't jalapenos. They were pickled Thai green chilies, labeled as jalapenos, meaning they were way hotter than expected. I've never tasted the rest, but some adventurous customers that tried them weren't impressed. The only new thing that kind of sold was a plate of nachos, basically because it was Doritos covered in queso. When it was heated, it became an orange liquid. A lot of bacon and a lot of sausage. We have complained about the quality to Gary, but he couldn't do anything anymore, and Dick doesn't back down. Dick is a bit upset from the low sales. He blames us. "You're not pushing them enough." And the customers. "Those barbarians couldn't recognize a filet mignon from a shank." But he sticks to his guns and then brings corporate to the shop. Dick comes in with 4 people from HQ. 2 of them are the owners. They sit and Dick comes and places an order of 5 quesadillas. It's a self-service shop. I ask how he wants them. "Exactly as it says on the board and prepared exactly as I told you," he replies. "Okay, sir. I will call you when they're ready," I replied, smiling. Now, Dick, in all his chefy wisdom, has given us very specific instructions for the quesadillas. First, to take out of the way, it wasn't a proper quesadilla, it was a crepe. The instructions were: reheat the chili, start the crepe, place 1.5 ladles of reheated queso, add 1 ladle of the chili, add a tablespoon of chopped jalapenos, 1 tablespoon of queso blanco, half a tablespoon of guacamole, and fold. Doing that produced a liquid mess, which tried really hard to escape from a thin crepe. We usually reheated the queso only for nachos. Especially in a crepe, we put it cold and let it reheat with the plate's heat to avoid the aforementioned mess. Cue malicious compliance. We, me and the other girl working, make 5 quesadillas exactly as instructed. I took the order to the table, it was corporate after all, and waited for the results. 5 people wearing white shirts and suits bite into the quesadillas. The quesadillas almost simultaneously explode, raining melted cheese and red chili on them. Some of them have bitten a jalapeno, and the heat is hitting them hard. A few choice words were heard. We brought them 2 bottles of water for the heat and 2 full packs of napkins to clean what they could. Let's say the new menu wasn't a blast with HQ. After they left, Dick came back. He was beyond angry. He approached the bench, bypassing the line, it was during one of our rush hours, and made a scene. The following dialogue is a bit censored. "You stupid jerk, you made me look bad because you don't like Mexican food. You can't even follow basic instructions. The cleaning of your mess will be deducted from your pay." And some other more offensive stuff. I was standing there dumbfounded, along with a long line of customers hearing his outburst. And then Gary intervened. "Shut the F up." "What the F did you say?" "I said shut the F up. The girls followed your instructions to the letter. Don't try to blame them for your mistake, or make them pay for your dry cleaning." Dick: "I can do what the F I want, and when I'm finished with them, maybe I'll find another manager for this shop." Gary: "I would love to see you try." Dick: "Oh, I will. And he stormed out. Fallout. Immediately, Gary called headquarters and notified about what happened. He also gave an ultimatum. If something happened to his staff, the company would need to find a new location. 3 days later, we were notified that Dick was fired. While his outburst was the main reason, one of the owners had a really bad reaction to the jalapenos. A week later, the Mexican menu was removed. During that part, they found out that Dick had used the cheapest vendor for the new menu. The vendor had a reputation for shady practices, which partly explained the weird products. I stayed there until I finished uni and got a job in my field. The Mexican menu made a huge comeback 2 years before I left. This time, HQ had hired a proper chef to consult and find vendors. Now, the ingredients are as authentic as possible, and pico and guac are made daily in-house. They also have good queso now, although it took me a long time to try it. And no pre-packaged, pre-made chili. In fact, no chili at all. My repulsion to Mexican food ended when my husband took me to a proper Mexican restaurant and finally tested a proper Mexican meal. Edit. Well, this escalated quickly. Thank you all for the awards and you, an anonymous Redditor, for the gold. I've been in the comments and need to address things. 1. I didn't put it through Google Translate. 2. When I say chili, I mean chili con carne. Although, with some of the knowledge I have now, I would characterize it as a bad sloppy Joe meat mix with delusions of grandeur. Coming from an area with a proud reputation for excellent Mexican food, this whole story makes me sick. You don't mess with Mexican food. It's phenomenal. And that's all the time we have for these malicious compliance posts. If you liked any of the stories, make sure to click the like button. And if you haven't yet, please subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any more stories. Thanks for listening, everyone. Catch you later.